there everyone, so today I wanted to show you a technique of preparing your cardstock for digital stamping so that you can emboss the image. Now this is a technique that was shown to me by Mel McCarthy, and I'll have a link at my blog and by the side of this YouTube video. But anyway, this is how we do it. So essentially you need to prepare your paper, and I use this acrylic gel. It has to be matte, otherwise it's just well, it's shiny otherwise, and that's not quite what we're looking for. So you just spread it over your paper, just a thin amount. It doesn't have to be much, and it doesn't take long to dry, but I force dry this with my heat gun, and it only took about 2 minutes to do, just like that. But you can do a whole load of these at once, and then you have a stash. And then it's important to get your embossing powder open and ready. As soon as this comes out the printer, you want to hit it with this embossing powder. Here I've used clear embossing powder, and then just flick off the excess as normal, and from here on in it is just as normal, and just treat the design as if you printed it with a rubber stamp. So then I'm going to use some Copic markers just to colour in my image, and all I've got here is an acrylic block that I use for my normal stamping. And I've just scribbled on a few colours here, just to give me a palette to work from. And I use the lighter coloured Copic markers and sort of dip them into the darker coloured markers to build up that shading that I want. Now I've zoomed in here, but it's not a very good quality, I'm afraid. My camera doesn't do zooming. But you can see here how I'm really slowly just building up the colour, starting with the darkest and then moving to the lightest. I'm just finishing off the giraffe's head there, and then I'm rubbing clean my Copic marker. Then I'm going to use my colourless blender excuse me, and instead of using the yellow directly from the yellow marker pen, I'm using it with this colourless blender, and it just gives a lighter impression. It's not quite so in your face yellow, and then you can also mix it with other colours if you wish. There's a brilliant tutorial on this, I'll have a link for it in this video as well, and she'll show you the whole thing from start to finish. It's definitely worth a watch. And here I'm just adding some shadow at the bottom, so the draft's not just like standing in midair. I've given him some ground to work off. And basically I've just chosen my lightest colour, and I'm using my colourless blender just to quickly scribble on a shadow effect. Now I would have preferred to use a grey Copic marker here, but I don't own one, so the brown was fine. And yeah, don't forget to clean your marker at the end. And that's the finished giraffe. So here I'm just drawing a cloud shape around my sentiment, because I don't have any oval stamps, oval punch outs, so what I wanted to do was get an oval shape that wasn't absolutely perfect. So I used this cloud shape, and then I doodled in some circles into each of the scallops. And then I decided I wanted it to look a little bit more scruffy, so I went around it again and deliberately didn't follow the exact lines, and it just gives that nice doodle effect that works really well. You know, for something that isn't going to look perfect. It's obviously handwritten, but I think the effect is good. So here now I'm just going to build up the card. I'm just going to stick this to the pattern piece of paper to the left hand side, and I'm just using my tape runner because it's the simplest form of adhesive for me. And here I wasn't sure which way round to have the pattern cardstock, whether to have the majority of green showing or whether to go for the brown. But in the end I decided to go for the brown because the base card I'm using is green, so I didn't want to be too overkill with the green. So here I've just, obviously it's a bit too long, so I'm just going to trim off that bottom edge with my paper trimmer. And I wanted to round the right hand corners of this, so I used my corner rounder. Now I'm just going to tie a knot around the side of the card. I've tried to zoom in, but you know, not brilliant quality. But just to give you some idea of how I tie this ribbon, It's not really something you can describe, you've just got to watch. And then trim off the ends. I tied this ribbon twice, you know, it's not a perfect science. Sometimes I have to tie it 3 or 4 times before I get it right, sometimes I can get it right first time. And I'm just cutting out that sentiment that I'd drawn on that cloud shape around. So now I need to start putting the card together, and basically I've just put some 3D foam stickers on here, and I'm just butting this giraffe topper to the very edge spine of the card. And I should have done this beforehand, but basically I'm just rounding those 2 right-hand edges again to mimic the topper. Now on this piece, it's going to hang over the edge of the giraffe topper, so I need 2 to be double height so that it will actually stick to the card base, and you'll see what I mean just here. Those top 2 have got to do that double layer, whereas the rest of them are going to be stuck to that giraffe bit. So that's the card. I hope you enjoyed it, and you should give it a go. See you next time.